I'm sure I'll eat crow for it too, but just happened to be right tonight so
I
far.
think you got this one right down pat here. So as what you talked about in your keys to the game at the beginning of the game, would you change your keys to the game as we go into the second half of action between Comets and Warriors?
Well, I mean, if I'm Clayton, I think, I've got to continue to focus on shutting down Carmen. If you noticed, when Unique Best come in from the injury, Carmen got slowed down a little bit. I mean, she's so tall, it's hard to contain her, and her legs are so long, and she's very quick. It's hard to contain her, but Unique Best is probably one of the better defenders that Clayton has to put up against her. So, I mean, I'm sure that's why, Coach Lee put her up against, as that matchup for the night. And, I don't know that I would change anything, other than just trying to make sure that we're keeping all of our pressure on Carmen and just trying to minimize her touches for the rest of the game. And then if you're East Wake, I mean, you're in the lead, so it's not really a need to change a whole lot, in my opinion. Maybe try to get a few cleaner shots, and they're hustling to the ball. Both teams are hustling hard to the ball, so neither coach can be upset about that and their team's level of hustle tonight.
Yeah, and as we get ready for the second half of play, I mean, I know it's 27-23. Again, as I said, you got to give props to Marlon Lee and the Lady Comets because they are staying within striking distance of the Warriors, and I think that worries Tony Dupree and their Lady Warrior program.
Yeah, I mean, I think they believe that they're obviously you believe you're better than every team you play against, but with these two being so evenly matched up and both undefeated in the conference, they both have an arguable case as well. So I think Dupree, this is probably one of the Clayton probably being one of the better teams that East Wake has seen all season long to this point as well. So I think again they're just kind of looking in the mirror at each other and seeing what adjustments they need to make to slow down Cameron for East Wake and slow down maybe Howard for Clayton.
And let's be honest, pretty much the big scores are Howard for the Comets, number 5, and number 24 for the Warriors of Khalees, Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen's and it's not all credit to Carmen or Howard without the wonderful passes from Graham and for East Wake and Washington for Clayton. Without those passes and those that IQ, that basketball IQ, and the ability to sling the ball in where they need to and get open looks for their players is I think that's really more crucial than who's actually making the baskets.
We've still got it as now the Warriors make their way back onto the court here again. We've still got about another 2.5 minutes before we get ready for the second half of action as we continue the Carolina Security Consultants halftime report. Real quickly, hint on where we're at for both teams with field goals, rebounds, points per goal, 3 points, and things like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, to date, coming into this game, like I said, they're not separated by a whole lot of, as far as stats are concerned. Field goals for East Wake is 31%, 35% for the Comets. Rebounds per game, 34 for the East Wake, and 30 for the Comets. Points per game, 49.2. Say 50 points there for the Warriors and 46 for the Lady Comets, and so I mean they're very very. If you look
on the outside looking in, preparing for this game, they literally look very closely matched together.
Yes,
just
definitely.
By a couple of different percentages or different numbers. But 31 to 35 of the field goals for the Warriors, 34.1 to 30% in rebounds, 49.2 to 46.1, 28 of the 126 3-point shots, 22 out of 111, and that's in the whole season so far.
So far,
so I mean, they're very evenly matched, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of difference here, and I still say that ultimately the better defense is going to win this game. Everything we've seen so far, and in my opinion, it's just kind of solidified what I've thought in my head of how this game was going to go.
And with that said, it is the wrap-up of the Carolina Security Consultants halftime report. One more word from our quick sponsor. We'll get ready for third period action on CRN Community Radio Network.
Carolina Security Consultants is your residential security consultants leader. Our security assessment is custom tailored for each project. Give Danny a call, 336-312-5326. Make sure to tell them 3 and Out sent you.
This is CRN, the Community Radio Network, the voice of the community, the voice of anything sports, and proud to be the voice of the Comets. Follow us at crnsports.org. Now let's get back to the broadcast coverage on CRN.
Welcome back to Comets basketball. We are set for second half action here from Jeff Adams Gymnasium. It's quickly going to go back to the East Wake Warriors as Razor goes to Pulley. Pulley in 33. Shot attempt made for 3 by Razor. Bounces off the rim. No good. Dariana Howard for the Comets of the rebound and quickly gets it fast pace midcourt to Howard. And now looking for Washington. Washington under the basket. Whistle and a foul. They're going to call a foul on Best. Or that's the player that got fouled. I think it's on 32. It is. Foul on 32, and that is going to be her second foul, Daniel Moore.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, if you're for Coach Dupree, I mean, I wouldn't be happy, you know, come this with a foul this early in the second half here. You got to play a little bit more smart, especially with the lead like that.
Unique Best to go to the line, and she will shoot 2. Misses her first free throw. Unique Best had an injury back at the beginning of the game. Came back after looking with the trainers, and she's okay. So her first points of the game is like 1 point at the free throw line for Unique Best, number 24. And now it'll be the Warriors' ball. 3 by Graham, back to Razor, back to Graham again. They play hot potato. Now put Pulley in the mix. Now back to Carmen. Carmen inside the top of the key. Looking there at 32 of Rupton. Gupton there. Gupton going up there. Fade away. Bounces off the rim. It's no good. And they're going to fight for it again. It'll still be for the third, fourth time of the rebound. Warriors ball. And now back to Pulley. Pulley goes back and sets up to Razor. Looks ready to fire the rocket. And goes back now to Graham. Graham back up court. Fires it now to Pulley. Pulley knows back to Razor. Razor thought for a 3. Fake. Thought better. Goes back inside the paint to Carmen. Looking inside to Pulley. Touch tipped away by Pulley's ball attempt. And Comets trying to play hard defense. And Eves will get the rebound. And they're going to call a foul as Eves was ready to take it away like candy from a baby.
Yeah, she had the ball there, and you know, like we said earlier, good pass in there by the East Wake Warriors there, and
they're calling the foul on Washington. And Kaesia's like, "How did you get me for that? Like, really? What did I do?" 2-shot foul coming up for Carmen. Khalees Carmen, forward center senior at 6'1". Big score in the beginning of the first half. Trace Daniel Moore, and she will miss her first. Hettinger's coming in now for Best. Carmen missed her first free throw. Let's see how she does on her second. 2 fouls now on Washington for the Comets. That was the foul called on. And it'll be Comets ball now. She will make her second free throw. Carmen. And now the Comets ball with Howard with the ball. Howard looking, faking, fader for second. Oh, no good for the jumper. It'll be now East Wake ball. And honest with you, Daniel, I don't even know why she even tried to make that attempt there to go for it because there was like nothing open. Razor with the ball now. 2 lady defense of the Comets. Shot made for 3. A shot goes up and it's no good by Pulley. Give it right back though on the rebound to the Warriors. Another fadeaway 3. Shot made by Razor. Off the rim, no good. Comets will get the rebound turnover. Hettinger. Why did they not call a foul on that? Hettinger is down on the ground. And they're calling a stoppage of play. Referee timeout called. Hettinger looked like she might have hurt her elbow.
Fell on her elbow there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she just a little stinger in her elbow there. Hopefully she'll be all right. I'm not sure if that's her shooting arm, though.
New player in. Number 10 now. Graham to Razor. Back to Graham. Looking out for Carmen. Carmen to the top of the key. Looking inside the paint now. Making a move. It's going to be Pulley. Thought better of it. Turns it over. Last touch by Clayton. It'll be still Warrior ball.
Good defense there by Howard.
That's Graham that was attempting to go for the shot. And another attempt made. Here they fight for the ball. Turnover. Give it right back to Clayton. Watkins sets up her lady. Ready to go. Turns it back to Washington. Now back to Watkins. Now back to Howard. Howard jukes jives under two ladies and puts it in the basket easy. How about that?
Just walks in and just throws it up. No contestant.
That's 9 points now on Dariana Howard. The freshman. Guards shooting for a strong forward. Number 5 for the Comets. Another attempt made here by Carmen under the basket. I don't know what they were thinking. They were going for that shot. He should have known it, but it never worked. Turns it over right back to Clayton as Peyton Sharp's now back on offense. 2 leg braces on the young lady of the number 4. Freshman 5'5" player guard. Had injury at the beginning of the season. Good strong here effort now in conference play. As she turns it over to Howard. Back to Washington. Now goes back to Watkins. And thought she was going to look for Sharp again, but she's going to carry it on her own. Watkins will. Up and over, no good. And give it back to the Warriors.
Like they tried to slow that game, slow it down a little bit there, but just couldn't quite convert on the basket.
Pulley now sets up on the Razor attempt. Now back to Graham. Graham looks it out at Carmen. Carmen will go inside the paint. Goes that free throw line to number 32 of Gupton. Let's go back to Razor in 11. 4:25 remaining in the third period. Out of nowhere, Gupton turns it over. Number 10, Graham, missed the call in the read. And turns it right back over to the Clayton ball, Daniel Moore. They needed that.
Yeah, and Coach Dupree is not happy about that miscommunication on that pass.
And mind you, it is a 2-point game now. Clayton is in the dogfight. In the hunt. Scoring, you tie it up here. And there it goes. Howard has tied things up for the Comets.
Excellent.
28-28. We have not seen a tied game since 4-4 in the beginning of the first period.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to even say 0-0 when it started, but 4-4. But excellent play there by Howard to get those points and get her team tied up and going into the later parts of this third quarter here.
All tied up at 28 even. 4:05 remaining in the third period. A timeout made by Coach Marlon Lee of the Comets, and this game is starting to shift in the momentum of offense, Daniel Moore.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, we've talked a lot about the defense, but, I mean, you got to score in order to get your team, points on the board. So, right now they're just trying to figure out the best way they're going to be able to score, and it looks like Clayton's answer is going to be Howard.
28 even. They're all tied up. Setting a one for a wild one down the home stretch. Referees getting back into place. It'll be Graham to put it back inbounds to Razor at midcourt. We're ready to go to fire the ammunition and set off the third at the half. 4 minutes remaining, half in the third period. Look at Carmen setting up under the basket, whistle and a foul. Her basket's no good though, but she'll go to the free throw line. Foul on number 32 for the Comets, and that's Delaney Eves. That is her first foul.
That was a good pass, too, by a good, almost what they call a no-touch pass, or there by Graham to get the ball into Cameron for that to draw that foul.
Carmen will make her first shot at the free throw line. New player in for the Warriors, Allie Woodruff, big 3 freshman guard from her 44. And another attempt made for 3, and it's good, so it's a 2-shot foul for Carmen. And by the way, quick statistic, after the big scores that Carmen had in the first half, her points are only 3, and they've only been at the free throw line, Daniel Moore.
Wow, that's good. I mean, that's what we said in the beginning of the game, that they needed to figure out a way to slow her down a little bit, and it looks like maybe they figured it out.
Travel called on Clayton, preferably Alexa Watkins. It'll be East Wake ball. And the Warriors are back up by 2. If you think the women's game is intense, wait till the men hit the grid, hit the court tonight for their hoops action. It's going to be a wild one, a barn burner. And a turnover. Razor threw it away. A lot of misreads there. And just give it back to Clayton. This could tie it up. Eves couldn't put it in the basket. She gets her own rebound, though, but nobody's there. Turns it over to Coach Marlon Lee, and he's not on court playing. It's a 2-point game, 30-28, 3:19 remaining in the third. We're seeing reads, mistakes, errors by both teams, not just one.
Right.
Pulley with the ball now. Back to Razor.
Definitely on both ends. Both teams are, like I said, they're just not quite playing as clean as I'm sure both coaches would like them to be.
Pulley back to Razor. A fader jumper for 3 up the rim, and it's no good. And last touch by Pulley. There, Warriors with the rebound. We got a timeout. Coach Tony Dupree calls a timeout for the Warriors.